cut me off, I'll hand you my printed paper. Well, I figured you wanted to sit next to Ian, so I could run to space.
Yes, I like her.
Someone's got to be the ears and someone's got to be the eyes. I said she always goes to Walmart. Her give me two. No, he got a mask, a dragon mask that breathes fire. It's just great for his water. And he got a scooter, which today he's hurt himself numerous times. Well, I have a gravel drive, so the only place to ride it is in my house, and then it's too many outfits.
Yeah.
If you hear them barking, that's what they're barking. They're chasing me around the house and scooter. And then he got some, you know those old things where you push the pins.
She showed me his face.
Yeah. He tried to get Legos, and I said, we're not doing Legos. We have not given him the opportunity to be a Legos. I don't want to spend the Legos money or do the Legos cleanup.
All right, if y'all ready, we're going to get started. Join us for the invocation.
Lord, thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the rain. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for the beautiful weather that we have here, Lord. We pray for those across our country that are struggling with weather, that you would give them grace and help them find the needs that they need to keep them safe. We pray that you would, for our leadership, that you would give them wisdom, Lord, in these national and international issues. For our president, that you would guide his direction, guide his steps. We pray also for us as we continue to make decisions for this county that we love to live in, that you would give us wisdom and guidance in each of these decisions. Thank you for our public safety, look after them and guide their days. Thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, I am going to motion that the agenda we delete items number 1 and 3 under unfinished business, and that we add under unfinished business discussion and possible action on extending the moratorium on 50+ subdivisions.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. You may have any changes or corrections to the June 6th executive session minutes, June 10th work session minutes, June 11th charter change public comment minutes, June 11th executive session minutes, June 11th regular meeting minutes, or the June 23rd special call meeting minutes.
I have no
department should have used no more than 50% of their expenditure budget. Departments over budget as of June 30th are courthouse and facilities maintenance at 51%. Overall, we're at 31% of the total budgeted revenues received and 40% of the total expenditure budget used. Total revenue received to date, $21,323,662. Total expenditures to date, $27,450,988.
Any questions? Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you.
Brings us to unfinished business. We, taking a little longer, taking a little longer than I had anticipated on some of the work on the fee schedule, so I would like to make a motion that we extend the moratorium on 50 subdivisions over 50, for an additional 3 months.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we wanted,
Okay, modify my motion from 3 months to 6 months.
Modify my second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes, sir, thank you. Discussion and possible action on short-term rental ordinance amendment. Mary.
I'd like to make a request for permission to start the process of amending the short-term rental host license ordinance. And I've created a list of recommendation of proposed changes to it based on changes that have happened in the short-term rental department over the past year. The process would be that we'll get David to prepare a draft and go the process of bringing it to first reader September, not in August, because we'll need time to have time for community review and interested party feedback and that type of thing from now until August. Hopefully, the first draft of it will be ready mid to late August. Anyway, the proposed change, I just wanted to let everybody know what the proposed changes basically are. They're not limited to this, but we're gonna provide clarification of the existing pieces in the ornament, including extending definitions and clarifying definitions of terminology, and then also expanding the explanation of certain items in the ordinance that just, there's a lot to be said for some of what's in there. So, and then also, since we have added the safety code enforcement feature of the department, we will be needing to propose a few changes to be able to enforce that with clarity, going through, just allow the property owners and the property management companies, even the neighbors, the whole community, just to know what is happening when inspections take place. And also, just in general, to make the entire ordinance a little bit more user-friendly, let David kind of reorganize what he needs to reorganize to put sections together, like licensing things together and code enforcement pieces together and things like that. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to entertain what you might like to know.
so should we see or notice, or is there anything more? Should we see that before it goes to the draft?
I think that you'll see it when it goes to the draft.
Yes,
Then you can-
I'll be in the process of putting something together that we hope to have available by mid-August at the very latest.
Yeah, but you'll definitely see it before it becomes the first reader, because there'll be feedback from the general public prior to that, and recommendations and suggestions, and everybody will have an opportunity. I don't want what happened this past time to happen again in December when we completed the first amendments to it. There wasn't a lot of public interest or public feedback, and so now, 6-7 months later, I'm hearing a great deal of complaint about what's in the ordinance, and I don't want to go through that again.
Thank you, Nick. Appointment of a member to the LJ Gilmer Water and Sewer Authority. Make a motion that Billy Rowe be appointed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Everybody okay with, all this?
I make a motion that we accept the rezoning request, based on the recommendations of our planning and zoning commission.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Brings us to citizens wishing to speak. Anybody that would like to comment on any topic, please come to the podium and state your name.
I'm Kimberly Reckless, a concerned Gilmer County citizen. Yesterday during the work session, the topic of airport plans was discussed, and Mr. Smith stated emphatically there were no plans. And Chairman Harris later said there may one day be plans. After the meeting, Mr. Smith again insisted there are no plans, and subsequently accused me of spreading misinformation. So one thing about me, that you all know, is I always come with receipts. And I'd like to share some of those so that nobody can accuse me of spreading misinformation. First, the Department of Transportation's Georgia Statewide Aviation System Plan states that Gilmer County Airport does not meet the minimum runway length. It requires extending the runway from 3,507 to 4,000 feet, plus runway safety improvements and a partial parallel taxiway, additional hangars, and a published instrument approach, fencing terminal improvements, and other projects. Those aren't my recommendations, those are the state of Georgia.
There is a difference between a recommendation and a plan, though.
I'm getting to that. Next, the airport layout plan. It shows future development, including the runway extension, runway protection zones, land acquisition, easements, taxiway improvements, terminal expansion, and more hangars. This is several pages of documents, and in here, all of this and all the plans are laid out. That is public record. It is filed with the FAA and available to anybody who'd like to see it.
Are these actually plans to do these things, or are we agreeing that these need to be done, or what? I'm not.
As you may or may not know, there is a requirement by the FAA to hold a license to have the airport layout plan every 5 to 7 years. So
that's what you're saying is our plan?
it is an airport layout plan. It's not my definition, it's the FAA's definition. Next we come to the official, ALP includes an airport sponsor approval, block signed by yourself, Mr. Paris. As the highest elected official, you are the sponsor of the Gilmer County Airport. Your signature is on both of those documents on the airport layout plan. The ALP identifies future property interests surrounding the airport, including parcels that may require fee simple acquisition or aviation easements. Again, these are the airport's official planning documents, not my own. These are available publicly to anybody, if any of you would like to see them. There are certain assurances made by the sponsor of the airport that they will secure and undertake any responsibilities surrounding the airport layout plan and its expansion.
And those are the only documents that exist. Nothing has been done.
No, I have more.
No, what I'm saying is there is no actual plan to do these things. You're talking about, there's a general plan that this is what we want to do, but we have not begun on those things.
I'll get into that if you'll allow me to continue. The airport capital improvement plan lists the same projects: runway extensions, safety improvements, taxiways, terminal upgrades, hangars, and again, land acquisition. There's a 2020 estimated cost of $15 million. The projects are all delineated, and then it was $15 million. I think today it's probably closer to $23 million. In September 25, the
the county advertised a request for statements of qualifications on the Georgia Procurement Registry for engineering, architectural, planning, design, construction, and services for the capital improvement plan. The list includes runway extension and taxi turnaround, land acquisition, terminal area expansion, partial parallel taxiway, hangar development, perimeter fencing, and runway safety improvements. These words came directly from the county's own solicitation, not my own. Meanwhile, the adopted 2025 Joint Comprehensive Plan directs the county to implement the airport master plan and partner with the state and federal agencies for funding, and earlier plans also called for expansion.
You're aware that the comprehensive plan is voluntary, not mandatory, right?
I participated in that process as a attendee, so I am familiar with that.
Okay.
The Joint Comprehensive Plan.
Make sure.
And of course, the cities of LJ and East LJ added their agreement to cooperate with that process. In IP1 and IP2, the airport layout plan identifies future easements and land acquisition areas. The FAA and GDOT guidance confirmed that airport development can require easements, obstruction removal, and property interests when needed. Here's the guidance. There are several things I won't bore everybody with today. So let me just say the county has adopted, funded, updated, and solicited engineering services for these expansion plans using a federal grant. And just because the county hasn't moved on airport capital improvements previously, and an airport sponsor could go through all the above steps and not move forward on any of it, it doesn't mean they can't. In fact, they can, and worse, they may be forced to do so moving forward. As you all know, the federal and state funds come with strings, and we're beginning to see those strings being pulled already. Enacted in 2026, Georgia House Bill 1434 mandates counties with airports to adopt land use regulations by July of 2027, limiting building heights and obstructions per FAA standards. Failure to do so makes the county ineligible for LMIG funding. When it comes to government deciding between money and people, we already know that that's going to go. So what would you do with the airport, gentlemen and Ms. Ferguson? Move forward with a larger plan and capital improvements? Will you sell it to a private owner, or will you shut it down? Or will you take our property? People's lives and homes hang in the balance. They deserve to know the truth, rather than waking up one day with a certified letter announcing the condemnation of their property, survey markers on their land, or heavy equipment removing grain silos, satellite antennas, and trees from their homes. And I'll cut it short there. I have more to say, but I'll cut it short.
Well, let me give you a couple of extra seconds and ask you, what's your point?
My point is, as it always is, the county embarks upon these plans, programs, ideas, concepts. The plan evolves behind closed doors. The citizens of this county are not involved in those processes, and I can give you a litany of them if you'd like me to go through some of them.
There are no plans that have ever evolved behind closed doors. Every
When did you present these to
every
the
document that you mentioned is, yeah, they're planning documents, but there are no active plans to participate in those. Everything that you've mentioned is either in the works, accomplished, or voluntary. That and when you mentioned that, I said that someday there might be. That's just exactly what I'm talking about. These are things that we probably will, I'm sure will do in the future. We just don't have any active participation in those things right now.
Right, and we citizens have heard that quite a bit. And therein lies my concern. We learned about these things after the fact, on the eve when decisions are being made and votes are being taken, and citizen input is limited. I think the time, and my argument is, as it always is, you have a big bridge to gap here, a big bridge to close here with the community. You all have total control of that. All you have to do is include the citizenry in your plans. Let us know what we are going on the hook for financially, what we may experience as a negative consequence in our daily lives. We are entitled to know these things with Section 8 apartments, with parks and rec
There is
facilities.
nothing in the works that you either aren't aware of, or can't be aware of, or shouldn't be aware of. We're not hiding anything from anybody. there anything in this world that you don't oppose?
There are lots that I don't oppose.
Okay, well, there are times.
And I don't have, there's a lot more things that I don't oppose, and we don't have time for that.
I'd like to, I don't usually get involved in your conversations, Kimberly, but I'd like to make a few comments and you can reply, of course. Yesterday, in that conversation, that exchange of words are so important because they can be misleading or, and when I think you asked yesterday about the airport expansion and they, Jim said back, we don't have plans for an expansion. And that's because we don't have it budgeted. Yes, you were part of the comprehensive plan, so was I. We always sort of make goals of plans of what we might want to do. And a lot of things, because we don't have the money, we can't do them. And so they don't actually get on the budget and they don't get done. Now, we are restricted by certain GDOT rules and things that we have to do. We have to keep clearing around the airport and cutting some trees for the airplanes to be able to land. Not something that's our law, it's a state law, and forgive Jim, you can correct me because I'll probably butcher some of this. But from what I understand, so now, but did we have future plans that we were acting on? No, in the way of expanding the airport. Do we have to extend that runway because of GDOT rules or regulations? I don't believe that is the case. And so we don't plan to do that. Are there other things that we have to do? Yes, and that's a constant when you have an airport. There are a lot of things that are required to make sure that planes can come in and out and land. But it doesn't mean that we as a board, now we are aware of the comprehensive plan and we saw, I remember in my first term we did that long-term airport plan, which we said we don't have the money to do that, so it was put aside. So if we, I think, were there plans? Yes. Did we act on plans? No, there was no funding. So, and was that conversation out in, I believe it was out in the open in my first term. So, and you were part of, like I was, as a public citizen in the comprehensive plan of that other. So any citizen in this room had the opportunity to have input into that airport section of that plan. So I think acting on a plan is maybe the right wording that might help people understand. If we don't have the money to do something, we can't act on it. Might we go ahead and plan to do things? Yes, but I mean, there are a lot of things that we'd like to do that we don't get to always do. So just trying to clarify.
As you know, the Joint Comprehensive Plan is some 143 pages. Okay. I sat in on 4 of those Joint Comprehensive Plan meetings as a community stakeholder.
Same.
I wasn't aware that the airport plan was in there. I learned subsequently since I began doing my research. So if I sat in on those meetings, how are the people in our community ever going to know about it? And I didn't know about it.
So
And
that
then-
comprehensive plan is on our website and has been since the time that it's signed. So anyone can look at that and
Right.
question.
And I'm
It's
saying,
available to the public.
if they have time to read 143 pages,
Well, if their concern is the airport, then they can look at the airport. And if they're,
Wait.
I mean, that's, go ahead.
if I can finish my
Sure.
point here. Just because you say you don't have funds doesn't mean you won't have funds. The T-SPLOST, to have it passed, you would have funds for an airport expansion. In fact, I do believe the airport is included in the transportation plan, or it should be included in the transportation plan. So there would be funding made available in that instance.
It would be, but it didn't pass, so I still don't see your point. Let me ask you this, so are you saying that if somebody doesn't have time to read through 143 pages or something, that it's our responsibility to sit them down and let them know everything that's in there?
It is your responsibility to assure there's an informed citizenry when we're talking about the $23 million expenditure. Should you follow through with the plan you put your RFQ out for, the plan that you sponsored, sir, to expand, lengthen the runway and expand the airport. The assurances that you gave the FAA and State of Georgia GDOT that you would take properties if necessary, that you would cut down trees.
We've never suggested that we're doing
That's in here, it's an insurance. I can, would you
And
like me to read you the
No,
insurances?
you can get any
Okay.
document from any county and find rhetoric and statements like that. And when you say it's our responsibility to make sure that there's an informed
Yes.
citizenry, it's our responsibility to make sure the information's out there for the citizenry. You're a prime example that it is. It is not necessarily our responsibility to make them sit down and read it. Informed citizenry is for the citizens to decide how much information they want. We put it out there. How much of it you want to read is up to y'all. And I know I sound frustrated because, you know, I've never experienced anybody that just spends their time trying to figure what can I yell about today.
Is that what advocacy is called in your
No,
book?
I don't think so.
If I spend, and I do spend a
This
great
is
deal of.
ridiculous, and we're done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak?
Here is that joint comprehensive plan that I printed off, and there's not much in here about an airport. My property,
I think that was our comment, but go ahead.
Melissa Cersei, I'm sorry, Angel's Landing. I live next door, well, my property that my husband and I had is next door to the airport, like one property away. And this is something that's very important to me, and this is something that we've been kind of following. And I did not know all this was out there until we got to talking about a lot of this. What about, where would you find information on, actually, let me not ask questions because I don't want to waste my time. There was some trees cut and there was a spill apparently at the airport. I know that our creeks that go down in our property have silt all in them. I did report this to the tall guy that comes around and checks to see if your code art. I did report this to him. I've not heard anything about it. It's been like 2 to 3 years since I reported it. It may have been close to 3, but I don't want to. It's backing up if I have to call the EPD or the EPA about this stuff, because I'm actually the one that's going to pay the bill. The county has messed up that property. My property, my neighbor's property, 2 other neighbors on the other side, their creeks are all full of silt because the silt fence has failed. So I want to report that here in public because I want it to actually, something to happen about that. Okay? Nothing was reported by Art to anybody else apparently because Jim wasn't aware that my creek was messed up. So I'm making that a public cry right now that I need help on that. Another thing, when, just a personal point, when we're talking about a bridge of trust between you guys and the public, I have been fighting roads since I was 18 years old when I built my first house. I have been fighting with the road department on different roads where I've lived. That was when John Penland was way back in the day when he was in the county commission in 1990 when I first started having to deal with roads. We have promises made, they're not held. The other day the road guy called me out in the public meeting. I didn't get an opportunity to respond, so this is my response to that from yesterday. When the road department has so many roads to keep, and they do, and I'm not negating that they're doing what they can do with what they have, why do we need more on the infrastructure added? I'm glad we have the moratorium expanded another 6 months. We need a moratorium until we can catch up on the roads before we add any more housing. I mean, I have kids that want to build houses too, but I don't believe we need more stress on the infrastructure that we have until we can take care of what we got. If I tell my kid, go clean your room, and they don't clean their room, if you're not taking care of your toys, you don't get new toys, okay? The same thing goes with y'all. You wanted to blame us yesterday for not passing the SPLOST
I'm not willing to give y'all any more money until I see that y'all are taking care of the stuff that you've already got. The courthouse is in terrible shape, according to y'all, with the roof and the AC units and all of that. The roads are in terrible shape, our infrastructure's falling apart every which way. So until we can get promises that the stuff we've already got is gonna be taken care of, why add anything stressful onto that situation? That's our opinion. And the trust has been broken over the years, 50 years that I've been dealing with stuff my mom and dad were dealing with where I was. And it's not getting any better. And until promises can be kept and infrastructure can be built back and trust can be built back, I will never vote for another SLOSS. I will never vote for another tax increase
But
until I
you'll still
can see.
complain about the roads, even though you won't vote to fund them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Jesse Montgomery. Y'all just got bashed for 10 minutes, or something like that, but I'll say every time I've called one of y'all have answered. You gave me the answer to the question. Sometimes it wasn't the answer I wanted to hear, but it was the truth. And for example, last week Charlie Meanion had a conversation about takeout trash and fixing a rule in the book about the river being public access. It's supposed to be private, and you're working on that. And I appreciate y'all three. And John, we're gonna miss you, but Gary Engel's coming up, and I appreciate him too. But thank y'all for all y'all do. Thank you, David. Thank you, Edwin.
Thank you, Jesse. Anybody else? Okay. Next time is appointment of 2 members to the Keep Gilmer Beautiful Advisory Board. Actually, in this case, 1 member, which would be Dr. Kate Coakley. I think I have a motion that she be appointed to that board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of 2 members to the Board of Ethics. Diane Scoggins is agreeing to that, and Amber Davenport to be reappointed. Make a motion that they be reappointed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of a member to the Gilmer County Building Authority. Bill Craig is willing to serve again, and I'll make a motion that he be appointed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion of possible action on agreement with North Georgia Community Action for operation of the Mountain Area Transit System. They will be able to see if that's okay to be signed. Okay, there you go. Everybody okay? We're good. Okay, good. Final adoption. Motion to approve the contract with the North Georgia Community Action for operation of the Mountain Area Transit System.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Final adoption of amendment to the county charter. I don't get the change. Do you want to highlight them or? I can mention.
You can, John.
Okay. This would be to add propane to the table of permitted uses for both C1 and I1.
Actually, Charlie, I think you're discussing the proposals with the land use ordinance. The county charter was.
Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have the county charter.
Yeah, that was just a change to mirror the state with respect to capital projects.
We have any discussion? Okay. Make a motion that be approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Get back to my list here. Shuffles too much. Discussion and possible action of deleting mobile home decals. The tax commissioner has asked us to approve this. The state has enacted legislation that will permit it, and she feels it will save quite a bit of money.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Discussion and possible action on land use ordinance amendments. Now, this would be to add propane to the federal permitted uses for C1 and I1 zones. And I believe that's what they're going to do.
We'll be addressing the lots, subdivision lots in excess of 50 with respect to the water connection.
All right, motion to approve that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion and possible action on the animal shelter. A couple of things that we need to do on that. We need to make a final decision on the type of bid. I believe we're preparing it from either design build or construction at risk. Personally, I would recommend design build. Okay, then I would make a motion to go with the design build.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The second thing, and we don't have to make a decision on that tonight, but there's a very good drawing that we have here now. That's starting point. I think it's an excellent starting point, and we need to review that and be ready maybe at our next meeting to discuss any potential changes that we need to make. And when I say our next meeting, we will be having, another meeting next week, and I would suggest if we can get it done in that time frame, we can discuss it then, otherwise we can do it in our August meeting. We can have 2 days to 29, whatever that is. Okay.
Talk about it, okay?
Yeah, I think if we all have time to look over everything, sure. We can add that to the agenda and have that discussion again. But I think it's an excellent starting point, and look forward to seeing where we need to go with that. Discussion possible action on courthouse repairs. Let me say first of all, the courthouse is in really good shape. There's a lot of people out there that continue to talk about how the courthouse is falling apart. Not falling apart. The courthouse is approaching 20 years old now, 17, 18 years, whatever it is. And we found that there's a lot of things like HVAC units that are at end of life. Didn't have anything to do with the fact that they weren't maintained. They're just old and worn out now. They've lasted as long as they were planning to last. We've been systematically replacing those units over the last couple of years. We do have a couple more that we need to replace. We have had problems with leaks in the roof. We don't need a new roof, but we have had people out looking to see what the problem is, and we've tasked them with coming up with something that's a final fix, because we'll fix it in one place and just kind of lose it to another. And they have given us a quote for that. Now, this will have to go out to bid, but we do want to get the quotes so we can kind of see what we're working with before we even put them out to bid. And it's going to be a little over $250,000 to get that done. The suggestion or the recommendation from our maintenance folks is that we replace those 2 HVAC units first, because if we put the new roof on, the roof repairs on first, and then we come in and we start ripping those HVAC units off the roof and replacing them, there's more than even opportunity that we So, what we discussed, and hopefully we can finalize tonight, is that we're going to try to replace those HVAC units this year with money that's already budgeted, without having to do a budget amendment for it. We will then, if we get that done, we can put the roof repairs into the regular budget sessions for the 27 budget without having to do any sort of budget amendments. And we can adequately plan to have that done. So, my recommendation would be that we replace the HVAC units this year. And I believe we have the money to do that. If we don't, we'll hear back from me, but pretty sure we've got enough money in there for that this year. And that we then put the roof repair, final roof repair into the 27 budget. And I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion and possible action on basketball road resurfacing bids. Right, it's not here, but, yeah, I don't, or y'all can just go ahead without any bidding. Yes. And what I would say is, just I would make a motion that we accept a little bit on that, since they're a suitable, vendor. Yeah.
You made a motion? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion and possible action on the budget amendment. This is not one where we need to try to come up with more money, we just need to make a little bit of a change. We put $25,000 into the IT capital budget for the 26 budget, for the possibility of buying a new server. Doesn't look like at this point that we're gonna need to buy that server, but what we are facing now is that we've been told that our security equipment, firewall and so forth, that is out there protecting us is at end of life and will no longer be supported and needs to be replaced right away. The estimated cost of that is a little bit less than $15,000. What I would say, and I'll make this in the form of a motion, is that we leave the $25,000 in the IT capital. We remove the stipulation that it has to be used for a server. And at that point, then we can utilize those funds for the security equipment that we need to buy.
Sorry, that's second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody need executive session?
Sorry. Did you include the one with the animal shelter?
Right, the
Yeah.
The 9,000 for the patio?
Oh, I did not include that.
It's just pulling the funds from capital forward.
Yeah, this is, the money is there for that, we just, again, need to, put the catio as an accepted expenditure for that. So I would, make a motion that we do that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Cindy.
Could I ask for clarification? I didn't hear, I'm sorry, the action resolution number 9, final adoption of the county charter. I must have missed that. Can you clarify that? What was
That is, primarily, we're going to modify the, minimum amount that requires a bid to match the state's minimum. Right now, that's $100,000. The state has, changed that, to up it to $200,000. So what we're saying is that we're going to adopt the state's $200,000, and what that will mean is, if we have a project that is $150,000, previously we would have to put it up for bids. With this, we can put it out for quotes instead of putting it up for bids. It's a little more efficient and saves us a bit of time on doing that.
That's a great.
Okay, what is it now?
$100,000.
It's 100,000 now? So you're doubling.
Yeah, and I should mention too that nowadays we run into a lot of problems with 100,000 because that's a pretty old figure, and with the inflation we've had, we run into that quite a bit. That's why the state raised it from 100,000 to 200,000, and so we're just saying that we're going to match what the state said. Motion to go into executive session, for real estate with action anticipated.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, folks.